Welcome, welcome to Living and Loving Each Day. My name is Sue Jansen, and I'm so glad that you joined us here today. I've got a beautiful guest I want to introduce, and her name is Valerie Arbeau. It's a French name, right? Yes, I knew that. Valerie is a parent of a child with disabilities. I want to read her bio just so we get it all right, and I don't want to mess up. She set up one of her, it's called a Forever Home, and she's also a podcast host who addresses aspects of creating a forever home for your child with disabilities or adaptive needs. And as you know, that's why I'm here, is we present really interesting stories and you know advice and parent stories about parents with children with adaptive needs. So she's also an author of the book The S.H.I.N.E, and it's spelled with a S.H.I.N.E principle. So we got to talk about that and find out more about that. And the Special Needs Mom's Guide to Strength, Hope, and Happiness. And that all fits so well into what I'm doing here today. So I'm so glad to have Valerie with us. She's the co-founder of AAC Camp Alberta for kids using meditative and alternative communication. And so now she's in her 10th year of that. So that's all I want her to tell us now more about her. So welcome, welcome, Valerie. And thank you so much for being here today. Thank
You're
you.
so very welcome. I am thrilled to be here. So thank you for inviting me to be on
Uh,
your show.
uh,
So, yes, a little bit more about me. So, I've been
yeah.
married to Scott for 32 years, and we have two children, both of whom have disabilities, one visible, one invisible. And after 7 years of trying, our firstborn came into the world via an emergency C-section. And so Melody Ann is her name. And so she was given a year to live. And praise God, she recently celebrated her 23rd birthday. So
Oh,
yay!
so happy. So happy to hear that. Thank you.
Yes. So Melody Ann is wheelchair bound, G-tube fed, and is total care. She uses a communication device to help us understand what her wants are. She usually starts her sentences with, I want. Anyhow, so she was given a diagnosis of autism. Well, she wasn't given a diagnosis, it was suggested to us by one of the speech language pathologists that she had at the time, maybe Melody Ann's on the spectrum. And once we started thinking along those lines, it was like, oh yeah, totally makes sense, and just certainly helped us understand a lot of how she was in her formative years. So our
Mhm.
youngest came into the world via a planned C-section, and by the time this child got to grade 5, I was convinced something was not quite adding up.
Mhm.
So this child was messy, did not respond to schedules, was having issues with social interactions, and so we got a diagnosis of ADHD probably at the end of grade 5, I want to
Mhm.
say. And then almost 3 years ago now, we got a diagnosis of high functioning autism for this child.
Oh,
So
wow.
yes. So as you mentioned, I love helping parents plan their forever home for their child, helping them navigate the journey of raising children with disabilities. And I just want to say my stress release is being outdoors. I love running, I love hiking, and I nurture myself with reading. So that's me.
Oh, that's beautiful. And one of the topics we talk on this show a lot about is the importance of self-care, because there are a lot of people out there, the moms and the caregivers, who are just not feeling like I don't know exactly what is going through their mind, but we just want to just re-emphasize that this should be a priority, because when you're
Mhm.
taking care of yourself, then you're you know, you're able to care for all those around you, and there's so many responsibilities that each of these people have. So
Yeah.
tell me more about, well, first of all, Forever Home. I want to know kind of because as you know, like I am a realtor in the city of Edmonton, and you are sitting in Calgary, and
Yes.
that's where I was born. So that's kind of my happy place. And so, my expertise is to help people who have accessibility and mobility needs. And
Mhm.
so one of my things as a realtor is I understand what they need. And when they tell me they need accessibility, I don't take them to a 4-story building with stairs. I just, what I mean? It's like kind of like a no-brainer, but it's amazing how many people don't understand when they say, I'm in a wheelchair, can I visit this home? And then you show up and you can't even act. And then they say, well, there's an elevator, but we explain, well, but there's steps to the elevator. So this is not accessible. We have to teach and help them understand. So tell me about your Forever Home.
So the reason we got into Forever Home was Melody Ann, our oldest, was doing fine. We had a caregiver that we had for 6.5 years, and she decided she was going to leave. And so, she was going to go in a different direction with her career, and that was fine. But Scott and I realized that we can't keep sustaining the model that we had been sustaining. So Scott and I both work. We have our younger child, and we'd had this caregiver for 6.5 years. So you kind of get into reliance. And we had our routine and everything was going great. And it's just like, oh, we don't have family here, neither Scott nor I. So what are we going to do? And how many times do I want to keep hiring somebody, training them, training, and all of that? Because as you say, it's a lot of work trying to find the right people because not everybody's cut out to work with children with disabilities. So we needed to look for something that was going to be more sustainable. And so that's when we started looking at, okay, how can we set Melody Ann up for the rest of her life?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how we got into a Forever Home. We actually left her in our home, our family home, because it was wheelchair accessible. She has an enormous bedroom with a beautiful ensuite. And I thought, I can't take her from this. This is what she's been used to. So my youngest child, my husband and I, we moved out. We
Okay.
left her there. And then we got 2 other young ladies with disabilities to be our housemates. And then
Oh,
then we got a agency to come and provide the 24-hour care. So I have to say the agency that were the spearheaded organization that got us the funding, because we needed to have funding to help with this. We were not able to sustain any kind of financial investment into this other than the house.
okay.
So that's basically how we got started with Melody Ann's Forever Home. And then for our youngest, they're coming up for 20, but with the executive functioning delay that they have, they're just not ready to move out on their own. So we've set up a suite, a legal suite within our home. So half of our basement has been turned into a legal suite. Now they're not ready right now to move into that. So we've actually rented it out to a young Christian couple, and they
Oh,
actually just signed a lease for a second year.
okay.
So we are thrilled to be able to have that. And not only will it be ready for our younger child when they're ready to move in, should they want to still move in,
Right.
but also it will be a long-term investment for Scott and I as well, because it will be a rental income, a passive income for us to help us in our retirement.
Right. Wow. So the forever home is just staying home or in a place that you've set up, but you are inviting and hiring professionals that help on that 24-hour basis.
Yes. So we have the agency, they get paid by the government. So I don't have to do any payroll. Thank you. I
Yeah.
do not miss that. That HR hat.
Yeah.
So it's nice that the agency provide all of that.
Hmm.
They do all of that. They do all the training, they do the hiring, the firing, whatever needs to be done. And so the beautiful thing, Susan, I can just go and be mom.
Hmm.
I don't have to think about, oh, is it time to change her? Does she need to
Oh,
change position? Is it time to give her medication? Do I need to give her more feed? I just can go and be mom. And she loves for me to sing with her. So I
yeah.
just go and sing.
That is so perfect. And do you have other homes like it, or do you help parents set up for their forever homes? Is that
That's
what?
correct. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me
So I
more about
help.
that. I'm really curious about that.
Yeah. So my goal is to help other parents realize that number one, it can be a reality, because not only have you given your child the opportunity to be independent, but you can take your life back. And
Mm,
there's things that you can do and get excited about, travel, whatever it may be that you have had on your dream list, but not been able to do. So this has been, for us, been beautiful, because now I can be who I want to be, do the things that I want to do, and know that Melody Ann is well taken care of.
mm,
And so I just want other parents to understand that this is a possibility. So
mhm.
that's what I do, is I help parents kind of come to, all right, what do we need to do? Because we had nothing. We had no one to help us other than the agency, but there were so many nuances that we didn't know anything about. So that's my job now, is to help other parents look, you need to think about this, you need to think about that. So things about financing. And I like to get people to think about it early, because we didn't have a down payment saved for a second house.
Mhm.
And so we were able to juggle and do other things just to be able to come up with a down payment. But it would have been hugely beneficial if we'd had planned it ahead and saved up for it. So that's my thing is, okay, we need to look at the financial thing. We need to look at legal aspects. What
Mhm.
does the home need to look like? What kind of feel do you want in the home? How do you want it furnished? What do your child needs?
Mm.
Are the needs for the child? And are there going to be a facility? Is there going to be the ability to adapt further should your child's needs change?
Exactly. You're long. This is long term. This is a
Yeah.
long term solution. That's really good. Yeah. So, do you have to be? Is there like, say, if I was a parent and I was in Calgary, because you're not doing this in Edmonton, are you right now?
No, I can work with parents because I do most of it over Zoom. So I can work with
Okay, good.
parents wherever they are.
Oh, good, 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 good. Because we have to. I'm just seeing some collaboration here because, as you know, my daughter and I are starting a new podcast, and I'm so glad that you're on this one because this is my living and loving each day and my bridging barriers, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But it's not always about for parents and caregivers. So, but my daughter Candace, who has her Kalea is her name. She's
Yes.
12 now, and she had near SIDS at 8 weeks old, and so she has cortical vision impairment and cerebral palsy. So she's very vocal. She's telling us jokes. I mean, she's very funny. So we don't have that issue, but she can't see us. But she sees color. She's amazing. How every day she surprises me on what she's able to do. But anyway, so Candace and I are starting this new podcast coming up, and
Nice.
I'm announcing it here today on this podcast. It is called Bridging Barriers, and it's going to be specifically and only for people like you who are experts giving these wonderful opportunities and ideas to these parents just so that they can take care of themselves and
Yeah.
just take that pressure off, you know.
Yes.
And so this is wonderful. This is so good to hear. I'm excited, and I'm not even involved yet, but I will be. Like we'll do some stuff together. So now tell me now a little bit more. We mentioned at the top about S.H.I.N.E. So tell me, what is that?
Okay, so the S.H.I.N.E principle, as you know, and all of us as parents, and especially parents of children with disabilities, we know we need to take care of ourselves, but it's hard. When your head's in the trenches,
Oh
it's
my
really
God.
hard,
Oh
right?
yeah.
We've got so many things to navigate, so many things to try to keep coordinated. And so taking care of yourself,
Mhm.
unfortunately, gets to the bottom of the list. So I wrote this book, The S.H.I.N.E Principle, because I need moms to recognize that it has to be about them as well. The reason I kind of probably got started with it, I have three sisters, and one of them I talk to fairly frequently. And so we were chatting away as sisters do. And she said, Val, when is it going to be about us? And I said, at our eulogy. I didn't even think it, it just came right out. And part of this for me is don't let it be at your eulogy. It needs to be about you now.
Today,
And so,
right this second, right this second. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So the S.H.I.N.E principle was kind of maybe born out of that, a few other things as well. People have been telling me I needed to write a book for a long time. So the reason I came up with the acronym S.H.I.N.E was number one, S, say yes to self. We always put ourselves at the back on the back burner. We're the last on the list. So say yes to self because we're not going to move forward with our self-care unless we give ourselves permission to do it. So
Mm.
say yes to self. H, have a higher power. Have a relationship with a higher power because we're not meant to do this by ourselves. We're built for community and we're built to be helped and guided through life.
Mhm.
And then I is for inspiration. So we want to be an inspiration, most of us, and particularly for our children, because our children are not always listening to what we're saying, but they're watching. So we
No.
need to be that inspiration with how we live, how we interact. And
Mhm.
so if we're taking care of ourselves, our children is seeing that, you taking care of yourself, you're important. So I need to take care of myself because I'm important. And then N is for nutrition, because we are what we eat and what we drink. No two ways around it. Sorry. And then E is for exercise because we need to move.
Okay.
Movement is medicine. And one of the things that I have learned, especially being a mom of children with special needs, is that I need to exercise. So that's why I mentioned earlier that
Mhm.
that's my stress release because exercise is going to change my emotion. So if I'm frustrated, angry about something, I just put on my running shoes and out the door I go. Yeah.
So that book might be for all parents, not just
Yes.
our caregiving parents, our
Mhm.
parents with children with adaptive needs. So that's really, and that could be a really good book for the caregivers too, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
yeah, but especially for the parents, I just have a heart for that. I just it just it's overwhelming for a lot of them, and they're feeling alone. They're feeling like they're isolated, and just everything that you have in your book is going to remind them to just get out and do stuff for you.
Hmm.
So definitely you'll be I think you might, Valerie, if you don't mind, you might have to be my first guest on my Bridging Barriers podcast that's coming up. It hasn't launched yet, but I'm thinking the end of May. So that's what we're thinking. So,
Right.
and I want to have my daughter on as a co-host, and we're going to have a panel, like, just to give you ideas, because I'm planting some seeds here now in case we'll make this happen. And where I have maybe a panel of maybe three other mums on the
Hmm.
screen, and then I'll introduce everything, but like Candace and the three mums kind of talk about the things that they will have it predetermined what we're going to talk about, but just a panel of really great mums and what they're going through, just so that other moms out there understand what's happening. So this
Absolutely.
is such a good fit, such a good fit. So
Oh,
I'm
I'd be
really,
thrilled.
yes, it's all, my brain is, I'm sure my daughter told me I have ADHD, and she says, like, that's what she adapted to, and is calling her own self. So, and I'm sure I do. And like, when I think back, because I was never diagnosed with that, but she has a son who has been diagnosed with ADHD as well
Hmm.
now, and Kalea, of course. So yeah, so we can just I love tackling this together. So I love your book.
Yes.
And are you when I'll have to give a link for that book. Do people
Yes.
buy it on your site? Is that how they get it?
They can get it
Or
through Amazon,
Amazon? Okay,
or my website. Yes.
okay, cool. Cool. So we'll have to talk about that. And also in our brains, Candace and I were having a discussion the other day, thinking, well, wouldn't a retreat be nice? So that's just something I'm just throwing. You got to throw it out there, and just,
Yes.
this is what we're thinking for these parents. We really want to collectively bring you together and say you are loved, you are not alone, and we're all here in this together. And I'm just a grandparent, but I feel I'm very involved with my daughter and her kids, and I was a
Hmm.
special needs teacher, and I just love those kids, all my kids that I taught. And when
Hmm.
I was teaching secondary education, severe needs kids. So all mine were like the 15 to 18, and just going out on their own after. And I used to just sit there wondering, where are they going, and what are they doing? So we're going to be talking about that as well on the podcast, saying, okay,
Hmm.
once you're done school, what do you want to do, and what can you do, and I used to get jobs as my one of my jobs as a teacher was to it was called community learning skills, and so we
Hmm.
matched businesses around our school to what our kids could do, and then the businesses said, yeah, bring them in, and then we actually took them to work and waited for a bit of time and took them back, and they loved it. I mean, so it's just accommodating, but knowing that there's a lot of potential and a lot of love that we want to,
Yes. Love
share.
it. Love
Yeah.
it. I know for us with Melody Ann at Eden House, which is the name of what we've called the house that Melody Ann lives in with her two housemates. So part of the agency, what they do is they set up programming for the young ladies. So Melody Ann has music therapy. We've had music therapy for forever, so they come to the house to do that. But there's also programs within Calgary. So I think in the bigger cities, they probably will offer more. So Melody Ann goes out to programs a couple of times, actually probably almost every day, to go and do something. And so that's really been hugely beneficial for me because I know she's getting out and interacting with people, getting out of the house, getting into the community. And so that's been great. So that gives her something to do, gives her purpose, right?
Yes.
And some
And
of the other things that she's been doing is volunteering. They went to Fish Creek Park, which is here in Calgary, and volunteering picking up litter. And she wanted to go back to her junior high school.
yeah.
She kept saying it on her device. We couldn't figure it out. It took us a while, but eventually we clued in. What she wanted to do was go back to her elementary school and volunteer.
Oh,
So she does that every 2 weeks.
that is so nice. So this programming, so you're in your forever home is, are you, I'm sorry, I just to be, so are you doing the programming, or you're just making that available to through your, like, is that
Nope.
something that you set up or help parents decide the
So
program?
what I do for Melody Ann is I collaborate with the agency, and so we look at what kind of programming we want Melody Ann to do. Obviously, she's a part of it for what she can share with us.
Yeah.
And so basically it's the agency's responsibility to get it set up, get Melody Ann there. But part of my job with working with families with special needs for their forever home is making sure that they have thought about, okay, so my child has the forever home, but it's not just the home. Okay, so what are we going to do? And just help the parents start thinking about, okay, so some children may be able to go to work. Some people may be able to do some volunteering. Some people may just go out to day programs or have a program come to their home. So
Mm,
just having parents think about, okay, so what are the possibilities and
mhm,
what's going to be a better fit for my child?
mhm. Oh, that's wonderful. So that's a holistic look at it, because
Mm-hmm.
you're not just housing. You're not just in that housing department. You're in, life skill, like just
Mm-hmm.
well, not continuing care. It's like life skills and all the things that you need to just be the best you can be every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the other thing as well is just having parents, I have them fill out a needs assessment. So what is your child able to do? And then what would you like them to do? What do you think they maybe could do? And then sort of looking at, all right, so what do we need to put in place to help them get from A to B so that
Mm.
they can develop some more independent skills?
That's wonderful. Oh, that is so good. I'm so glad that we met here today, and I hope everybody is getting little chills like I am, just in little seeds of inspiration about the possibilities. And there's
Yeah,
so much we can do, especially when we collaborate. I'm a collaborator. So, Valerie, I want to thank you. Just before you go, though, just tell us where can people find you? Like, where would your website? Just tell us all about that. It'll also
sure.
be in the description, but I just want people to hear you tell them.
Sure. So my website is Coaching with Valerie Ann, coachingwithvalerieann.com. So you can find me on my website. Also, you can find me on social media under my name, Valerie Arbeau. And going back to, sorry, I always forget this, Coaching with Valerie Ann and with an E. And then to find me on social media, Valerie Arbeau, just look for me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel now for Forever Home, where
Good.
we are doing podcasts with people like yourself, Susan. And so I think yours is the not. I'm dropping an episode this week. In 2 weeks, yours will be dropped.
Well, I'm excited to be a guest on your show. I love that. Yeah.
And yeah, so you can find me Forever Home for your kids with or for our kids with disabilities. That's where you find the YouTube channel. And the reason why I'm doing that is just to give people the opportunity to sort of again see, okay, what do I need to think about? So the episode that's going to drop on Wednesday is with a financial planner.
Good.
So what do I need to be thinking about financially for my child and also for me?
Good.
And then I've got an estate lawyer coming up soon. I have yourself as a realtor coming up soon. So this is what I'm trying to do on the YouTube channel, is just bring in experts to share what they feel parents
Exactly.
of children with special needs can be thinking about or preparing for as their child grows.
Right. Oh, that's so good. We'll be the Alberta change makers here.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here. What a pleasure to have you here. And everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you just got some really good information. And now you're prepared. Now you're waiting for Valerie's next podcast, and for me as a guest on Valerie's podcast, and for Candace and I to get together to do our Bridging Barriers podcast. So we're giving out the information that you all need. And if you have any ideas, suggestions, questions, anything, just SueJansen.ca is below. You can reach out to me there, or on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm kind of everywhere. So under Susan Jansen. So and I could even come and do some singing with your. I wouldn't mind doing that, doing some music therapy. I would love that. Something I would love to do too.
Yeah.
So I see. I'm just that's just a singer in me. You can't shut me up. It doesn't matter how hard you try. So Valerie and everybody, thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.